Cheapario here with a little Easter egg hunt, Sonic the Hedgehog variety. So this video game, Lost Judgment, is on consoles and PC. Came out in 2021, Sega game, and you play as a detective slash lawyer slash martial arts master named Takayuki Yagami, and he works for this investigation agency, in Tokyo, Japan. And this video game is pretty fun, but I wasn't really looking for this noir detective game that has some cool fighting, and really the game's just a bunch of mini games altogether. So you explore the city, you take on little detective jobs, and you gain money, and that's really the gist of the game. There is a main story as well, but you go through the city, and this is the map of the city as well, and you take on all these jobs, and that gets you currency. So, pretty neat game, but there's something exciting for Sonic the Hedgehog fans. So, in the map, you can easily find something called Club Sega. And there's a few of these controller-looking items on the map, and these are all arcades. These arcades host a bunch of different Sega games for that go back to the arcades. They're the original Sega Genesis. Some of them are a little bit newer. They've got a House of the Dead spin-off. They've got some classic Sega games. But the one that got me excited was this one. So we're going to get off the map, and this is your main character in the city. And we're going to go to this Club Sega. About to see it in a second. I can sprint over there, go through the door. Look at that, some arcade games that you can actually play when you walk up to these arcades. And you put currency in, it's like about 100 yen. As you can see here, they've got Virtual Fighter, but we're not going to worry about Virtual Fighter because that's already been released on consoles separately. We're going to worry about the ones that, or focus on the ones that aren't actually easily or haven't been released in a long time in any type of medium. So as you can see here, they've got Fighting Vipers, which is an okay fighting game. We've got Fantasy Zone, which is a retro game. I don't think that came out on any type of arcade. It was more of a Sega Genesis game or a Master System game. And then they've got the best of all, Sonic the Fighters. So love Sonic the Fighters. It's a little fun arcade fighter with the Sonic the Hedgehog characters. Some of the characters in the arcade game were characters you never saw again. I believe this originally came out on the Sega Saturn, and it's had a couple of re-releases, but I think the last time it was re-released was on the Xbox Live and on PlayStation 3, and then never again. I sold my Xbox 360, and I was eager to play Sonic the Fighters. I know they did a release on the PS2 and the GameCube, and I was actually going to go back since I still own the PS2, and was going to buy a Sonic the Hedgehog collection that had Sonic the Fighters. But then I found out about Lost Judgment, and it's just something that I didn't really see advertised about these fun mini games. So I'm just going to do a quick little glance, a little playthrough of Sonic the Fighters and how it plays for Lost Judgment on the PS5. Actually, there we go. So you put the coin in. Oh, you have to select if you want to play or not. Yes, I'm going to spend my hard-earned detective money on Sonic the Fighters. Who wants to work when you want to play Sega? And it's a really good, I guess, emulation or release, a playable copy of this arcade game. Looks really sharp. You never get something this high quality with Sonic the Fighters before, this crisp and clean. So I was really looking forward to this release. So I'm going to put coins in, press start on your controller, and you put your coin in, and you've got your different sets of characters. And again, all crisp and clean, high definition versions of the characters. Really cool. I'm going to go ahead and play as for Sonic the Hedgehog. And if you press, let's get the round go on. Press, is it start? There you go. You can get the controls and settings, and it shows you the specific controls for that Sonic the Fighters or that arcade game of what you're playing. And again, as I showed you guys, it's not just limited to Sonic the Fighters. They've got Virtual Fighter 5. They've got a House of the Dead spin-off, but of course you're going to have to use regular analog stick as opposed to any type of gun control availability. So we're going to go back into the game and see how it plays. Again, it's a fun little game. It's a little fighter. It was essentially developed initially as kind of a mod to Fighting Vipers and released on the Sega Saturn. It's a cute little game. It pops with color. Honestly, with this game, it's a little floaty. No pun intended in terms of the floating island. The game almost like kind of plays itself. The controls feel very floaty, and like things just happen. You don't know how or why, but it's fun. Like there's little character animations and faces that they make, and Sonic will do this spin dash that goes around the character until the character gets dizzy, and it's just kind of did a spin dash and knock him on his head. But it's very fun. It's a short play. I think you can knock out all the matches in under 10 minutes. And even that, before you get to Robotnik and I think Metal Sonic. Now, there's a good and bad to this. Of course, the good is the crisp graphics, the fact that you can play on your PS4, PS5, on your latest Microsoft Xbox consoles. But the bad thing is that it's only one player. So you cannot have the second player put a coin in. Even though it says insert coins, I have not seen that you have the ability, when you connect another controller, to play as a second player, just not recognizing. And there, Amy does a little trick on me where she distracts me and then knocks me out. But I'm still going to win this round. So yeah, that's the bad thing, that there is no second player availability. Also, another negative to this is that, and my understanding when the games were re-released back in like the Xbox Live days, around the Xbox 360, PS3 time frame, when it was on the when you could download that game for PS3 and Xbox 360, it had the ability to unlock the secret characters like Metal Sonic, whereas this one does not have that ability. So you're just going to be stuck with the characters that it has in the initial character select screen. But again, it's a little blast from the past. It's a fun little game. I recommend that if you were to buy Lost Judgment, I think that even with all the DLC on sale, we're talking about, I guess it's kind of like the deluxe digital edition of Lost Judgment. I think it runs about $34.99, but you can get the basic edition, and I think it runs about $10 cheaper on sale. It's a 2021 game. It's a pretty fun game. It's not my style per se, but it is it feels very Sega. And it's an enjoyable game, Lost Judgment. But the truth be told, you don't even need to necessarily really go through the main story or play that game. You can just go to the arcades and just play the different Sega games that they have there. Being able to play Sonic the Fighters on a new generation system is just something I was really surprised about, and really glad that I got to do so. I'll probably hook this up to my arcade 1-up shell and play this in an arcade style, so that I can play it as I want to, as an actual arcade game with an arcade stick. So, yeah, it's great to be able to play this game, and I hope you guys go out and download this on your consoles, even on PC. And all you have to do is to actually get into or to find the arcade is that when you start up Lost Judgment, you have to go through the initial tutorial match. The initial tutorial how to play. You do your first mission. It's about 15 minutes long. Should I continue? I think I will. You just have to play the first initial level. It lasts about 15 minutes, and then you've got free roam. And you can go to that arcade, the multiple arcades, and play the games that you want. Sonic Fighters is the best for me. Not a Fighting Vipers fan. The House of the Dead game was a little weird, but again, Sonic Fighters, that's where it's at. That's where Sonic fans should go to, and that's why you should buy, or at least check out Lost Judgment if you want to go play Sonic Fighters. Nice blast in the past. good time, and I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit and a nice Easter egg. So, have a good one, and I hope to see you guys again.